So welcome, episode 1 of the Club 600 podcast. My name is Mike. In case you don't know, I am joined with Andrea right here. Andrea, go ahead and introduce yourself to the members joining in on us.
Hi, my name is Andrea Wegner. I'm a physical therapy assistant here at Club 600. It's moving forward physical therapy. I'm also one of the personal trainers here as well. So I got a couple different roles here at the club.
Now, how did you get started here at the club?
Well, believe it or not, I was actually working at another clinic in Dedham, and really busy clinic, but I was also looking for some part-time work. So and Jane was looking for a little bit of help in the PT clinic as things were starting to get busy here. And I have to say I was pretty unhappy in my other job, but I was loving things here. And she was looking for a little bit more help. And so I kind of said, hey, I will be willing to leave my other job if you'll hire me like full time. And that was 2 years ago. So I love it. It's the best decision I've ever made. I love my clientele. I love that we really only see one patient every 30 minutes, which you don't often find in a lot of other clinics. Oftentimes, my previous job, I was actually seeing 2 to 3 patients an hour. So it's just hard to give the good quality care that I like to do and I feel the patients deserve.
Yeah, so was that like the main reason why you decided to choose this over the other clinic, or was it, like a managerial thing? Because I've worked for Jane and Dennis now myself for about a year, and they're the best bosses I've ever had. They don't even consider them bosses,
Yeah, I completely agree. It was several things. It was one, I loved the fact that I wasn't having my previous clinic. They were all about the numbers and the number of patients you saw per hour. And both Jane and Dennis, I knew Dennis just from, I would see him around, but my interaction in the start was just with Jane. And I love the fact that her primary concern was about the quality of care and not turning it into one of these factory PT clinics. It was a lot shorter commute, but they were much better bosses, just not just to interact with, but that they were really looking for a really good quality product and not just numbers and dollars and cents.
Yeah, they're not like a franchisee, like a Planet Fitness, where they're just trying to crank out numbers,
Completely.
I get it from the gym perspective, from the club perspective, but then you also get it, moving forward physical therapy, which I don't get that side of it, but it's good to see that it's kind of a consistent practice between the both.
Completely. And, because it's unfortunate aspect of physical therapy. We're dealing with insurance companies, and unfortunately, insurance companies are taking a larger percentage than they used to, and they've still kept their same motto even through all those transitions. So it's been awesome to see.
Plus, there's less notes for you. Like half the time when I talk to you, you're behind on your notes. Like you probably be drowning in them.
Oh my God, it's awful. Yeah, I still spend a good amount of time on notes, but it's a lot less time than I used to. So, which is great. And like I said, it's only better for the patient because you're not always either having your face in a computer because you need to stay on top of the notes. And you can really pick apart and analyze what's going on with the patient.
Well, it's better for you too as a person, an individual, because between you're living with like your parents and you have your son and the dog and everything else. And, you like to go up to Maine and play tennis and everything else that you have going on in your life, so it gives you extra time to go ahead and
it does.
Like have a living instead of like working. Like your life isn't like just your career.
Correct.
You're not too busy making a living that you don't have a life.
Yeah. So it's before a lot of my weekend time was spent doing paperwork and stuff like that. I will not lie, it's still a little bit is, but it's not as large of a percentage. It definitely gives me that freedom to be able to do it. So
now, if there was one tip that you could give like a member or anybody in general when it comes to preventive maintenance, like for your body, like what would it be? Like what's like the biggest thing you see people neglect?
I would say balance is, and the functional exercises. Balance is a huge thing. As we age, several different factors affect how we balance. And my big thing is balancing barefoot.
Yeah.
We don't spend enough time.
Yeah, half the
barefoot.
time you're walking around the gym barefoot. I look at you with 10 heads and I'm like, hey, it's working. It's
working.
I've worked through it a few times, between my back or just doing promotional stuff, and I mean it works. You're like the voodoo witch.
It does. If I could walk around all day without shoes on, I probably would. I don't know how patients or other members of the gym would feel about that, or Gene or Dennis. So I wear a lot of minimalist shoes that literally my shoe curls up into a ball. Little support. It did take me a very long time to do it, but what it does is it forces those really small muscles to have to work, and it gets all the tissue moving and stuff like that. So especially those people that are prone to the plantar fasciitis and stuff like that, take the shoes off. It takes some work. I won't say it's easy, but it definitely can be done. I had really, really a lot of issues with my feet. And I've been able to kind of resolve a lot of them just by taking the shoes off.
Socks or no socks?
No socks. If you are going to do socks, you got to do the toe socks, unfortunately, because the regular socks do the same thing. It compresses the foot, and then the toes can't splay, and we don't get the good push off through that big toe. You'll hear my patients, any lower body patient, I talk about the big toe nonstop. It's kind of the foundation of how we move. Kick the shoes off, and work on some balance.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
I know for sure, even when I was working with you, when we were doing that promotional shoot for the clinic and everything, you're balance, and you're because you had me by the hips, and you were trying to get me into that squat position, that prone position. Yeah. So the whole thing was balance, and then we were doing the one-legged, I had to reach down, touch the cone, doing one-leg RDL. Yeah. You're balance, the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. We don't pay enough attention to it, unfortunately, and especially for the older clientele, our balance only decreases as we get older. So it's something you don't want to lose. As we get older, we fall, we potentially break a hip, an arm or something like that, and it's definitely something that's sort of preventable.
Now, what's your favorite thing to do outside of the club? Is it tennis or?
Tennis and being by the was, yeah. I do play a lot of tennis. I've been playing since I was 5, so about 35 years. Competing, I played D1 college tennis. Love it. I love that it's a sport I can still play at a very high level, even at 40. And it's pretty decent to my body. I haven't been beat up too much by the sport, which is good. Unlike some of the other sports, where there's sort of an age cutoff just because it's just too much on the body.
It's way too violent.
But I love being by the ocean. I spend most of my summer weekends up in Maine. My family is fortunate to have a house right on the water. So that's kind of my sanctuary place, where you get to clear the head, and I will go in the dead of winter or in the middle of summer. And I love it up there. So yeah, just being outside was a big one.
Yeah, like how you had the folding chair and the folding table. You come outside and do your notes.
I do. Lunch. Give me heat and humidity all day long. I may be the only one at the club that likes it. 95% humidity and 90 degrees outside, but Yeah.
Literally Florida weather.
Yes, definitely. So.
Now, what's the best way to reach you if somebody wants to do physical therapy or personal training? So
physical therapy, so with your membership, you do get a free 30-minute physical therapy consultation.
So as well as just remind,
as personal training. And exactly. So definitely take advantage of that, you know, even if it's just something like really tiny, you know, sometimes it's just as simple like adding a couple exercises to your program, adding a couple stretches in, that can be so. But if you really do have a big physical therapy issue, you have a script from your doctor, you can contact Jane, and you would set up that initial eval. I believe it's Jane at movingforwardphysicaltherapy.com.
Yeah, you could also use the Jane at summitbedford.com too. Outdated name, but email still works the same.
Yeah. And you can reach me at, I believe it's Andrea at summitbedford.com as well. Or if you need to, you can always do it through Jane. And we
can do it through me as well. I can get you guys in touch with them. That's mdelafano at summitbedford.com. Dennis as well, even though he tends to just send it over to me or Jane anyway, or Andrea. So that's Dennis at summitbedford.com.
Yeah. So
was there any other closing statement you want to make, or any other tips or helpful insight for the community?
No, I mean, I just encourage all the members to definitely take advantage of either the free consultations and the other services that we provide here. It's a fabulous community. I've been doing this working in PT clinics for 11 years now. And this is probably one of the best clinics, both community-wise, boss-wise, staff-wise, that I've worked at. And yeah, just take advantage of it. We're here, you know, use us.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap for the Club 600 episode number 1. Again, thanks, Andrea, for coming on and giving us all those words of wisdom and a little bit of insight of, you know, since she's been here, what her perspective's been like and just what the club's all about.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike, for having me.
Yeah, anytime.